Are you?
I do
Okay.
film it. You
Where
look
does it
fine.
go to?
It's fine. If it's really interesting, I'll put it up on YouTube, but I don't always put it up on YouTube.
Okay.
You look fine. It's fine.
Okay.
My name's Eddie, by the way. What's your name?
Hi, I'm Suzanne.
Suzanne.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, you're warm.
Yeah,
I'm starting
I've been running.
All right. Susan.
Suzanne. Is this something that you do for a class or something that you just do?
This is like
Eddie?
This is a hobby.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Suzanne. Okay. Cool. Glad I asked. All right. So, just to give you an idea of how these talks usually go.
Okay.
I like to talk about your beliefs or a belief.
Okay.
You can kind of pick whatever you want.
Okay.
And all I do is just ask questions to kind of uncover how you got to that belief. And by the end of the talk, people usually have a better understanding of why they believe what they believe.
Okay.
And some people are more confident in the belief after talk to me, and some people don't change at all, and some people actually maybe lose a little confidence in the beliefs.
Okay.
So it's just it's a cool thing.
Okay.
So to give you an idea of typical conversation or topics would be like, I believe in karma. I think karma is a thing. It's happening.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in ghosts.
I like karma. Can we do that one?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Karma. Okay. So I want to get an idea of how confident you are that karma is real and it's happening.
Okay.
And I use a belief scale. You don't really have to use it, but I think it helps.
Okay.
0% is I have all questions and I have no confidence that karma is real. 100% is I have no questions, all confidence that karma is real. You're 100%.
Yes.
Okay.
I know it's pretty extreme, but I do.
All right. Which is why we picked it.
Uh-huh.
Okay. What is the main reason why the main reason that gets you that 100%?
I think because I don't have control.
Oh, sorry. Start that timer.
Okay. I don't have control over things, but there seems to be like laws of nature that are just laws that, regardless of what I believe, they exist, and I can't deny that. And I feel like I've seen that in action many times, and it's yes, I've seen that in action many times.
Okay. Well, what is karma to you? How would you describe karma?
So to me, karma is when something happens to you, how you respond to it, and that energy that goes out from how you respond to it begins to determine the path that whole situation took, and your behavior of how you respond to it can determine which direction it goes. And so when
you say which direction it goes, are you talking about the situation or the energy, or what do you mean? I'm a little confused.
Okay, so I don't have all the answers. So I have a belief that there's an energy I don't completely understand.
Okay.
But it seems to it's there, and I can't deny it. And whenever I have a situation and I respond a certain way, there's an energy that begins to progress in a direction, and my life begins to flow in that direction. And so
okay. Can I give you like a real life example, and
Sure.
you kind of explain to me how it works? So let's say you're running down this path, and some guy's like just barreling through, and he's just like super rude and says, "Get the hell out of my way." What would be an example of karma working in that situation, and how which way it can go? And
his karma
I mean?
or my karma?
I don't know.
So,
Sorry.
So no, that's okay. So I'll take my karma,
Okay.
because I have control over me.
Right.
So, the hope would be that I see him coming.
Yeah.
And so I'm seeing the behavior already, and I say, well, I'm going to get out of this guy's way because here's some negative energy coming based on what I'm seeing.
Oh, okay.
And so I make a decision beforehand. Let that energy just flow on by.
Right.
And I just keep doing my thing. I would imagine from his point of view, to hold all that negative energy would only attract negative energy, and he's going to end up barreling into somebody and probably not have a good outcome.
Okay.
But that was his karma because of the way that the choices he was making.
I gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So I'm just gonna tell you what I'm hearing and how I interpret it, and you just kind of correct me and see if I have the right interpretation or not.
Okay.
It seems like when you say karma, when you describe karma, it seems like karma is an attitude that someone has, or whether it's positive or negative, like an attitude towards something, and based off of what attitude you have, it will attract certain other attitudes, or repel them, or present opportunities for you, or something like that. Mm-hmm. Is that what karma is to you, or is it something more than that?
It's so that's a good point. I think on a superficial level, it's kind of that.
Okay.
But I think there's so much depth to it that I think there's more to it. Okay. I don't understand it all. Like I said, but I feel it, and so on a superficial level, yes.
Okay. How do I say this? How would we find out that there is more to it than just attitudes people have? How did you discover that?
That's a really great question. No.
We can keep going if you want. This is to respect your time.
Oh, okay, thank you.
I'll stand here either way.
So yeah, okay. So I'll answer that, and then I'll get running again.
Okay.
So I had a very difficult moment in my life where I went to where I was to a point where I absolutely had to surrender and I realized I did not have control over the situation, and to have that depth of pain and to finally surrender to it, something happens, and my personal life changed, and it is I began to be introduced to the idea of there is this benevolent truth, being, whatever you want to call it, God, mm-hmm. universe, source, whatever you want to call it,
okay.
that is there, and it really wants it wants the best out of life. And I know this,
okay.
I don't care what this sounds like, but
no, it's fine.
So anyways, I really practice very consciously to try to be aware of where my thoughts are and just staying present. And karma is kind of an element of that.
Yeah.
But it's ultimately about staying in the moment.
Okay, I think I understand what you're saying. And I know we're over our time, and I'll try to wrap it up. I probably have just two more questions. If you were wrong about the source of this energy, or how it worked, and it was actually something else, mm-hmm. how would you go about discovering that?
So it's not really about me being right or wrong. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a knowing that sort of, you just know it, and you don't know it like you read a book and you solve an equation and you know the answer. It's not that kind of knowing. It's a knowing that like nature knows. It's like I don't care what I sound like.
That's fine. I'm just really trying to understand
mm-hmm.
what you're saying.
It's I find it difficult to find the words to express it sometimes, so
Okay.
I can understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
And it's pretty new for me, so as time goes on, hopefully I will progress and get better
Sure.
at explaining.
Yeah, no worries.
But it's very interesting questions.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting what you're doing, and you know, so is it just Eddie? Would I go on YouTube and just look up Eddie, because there's probably lots of Eddies out
It's
there? And who knows what
it's
would pull
deep
up.
discussions.
Deep discussions.
Yeah,
Nice. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Yeah. That's a good thing to be called. I like that. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
All right. Well, I'm sorry. I am going to continue my run because
Sure.
I have to go back and study and then pick up my kids. So,
All right.
but it was very nice to meet you, Eddie.
Nice to
I
meet you
wish
as
you
well.
the best, and I will. I'll deep discussions.
Yeah. Wait, I think I actually have a card.
Do you? That would be
Wait, no. This pocket. Yeah. Yeah, there it is.
okay.
There you go.
Deep discussions. Engaging meaningful, civil, and productive conversations about deeply held beliefs. Very interesting. I bet you find out a lot about humanity doing this.
Right? Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah, and then about yourself at the same time. Very cool. Would
Yeah.
be interesting to. Do you have like a biography out there or something?
No.
Oh.
No,
okay.
I started this like a couple months ago.
Couple
and-
months. Oh, were
yeah.
you inspired to do it?
Yeah, I've seen other people do it,
Uh-huh.
and I thought it was really interesting. When it comes to my thing is that these topics are really hard to discuss because they're very
People have strongly held beliefs.
very, very strong held beliefs,
Yeah.
and
It's a part of who they are.
this approach, it's
Uh-huh.
called street epistemology. It's
Uh-huh.
it's an approach that allows for people to openly talk about whatever they want to talk about
Uh-huh.
without being attacked or feeling defensive.
Yeah.
At the same time, for me to maybe ask some questions to maybe get them to think about something they haven't thought about.
Oh.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I wish you the best in that.
Thanks.
Maybe we'll see each other again.
All right.
Good luck.
You too.